Have you ever wondered why your heart feels tired, even though you haven't run a single mile? It's because some people drain your energy more than any physical work ever could. Not everyone deserves access to your kindness, your time, or your peace. God didn't send you here to please the world, He sent you to fulfill a purpose. And sometimes that purpose requires you to step back, set boundaries, and protect your inner world. My friends, one of the biggest mistakes we make in life is trying to be friendly with everyone. We think kindness means availability. We think spirituality means saying yes to every request. We think being a good human means being a doormat. But God never asked you to exhaust your soul for the comfort of others. God wants you to grow, to rise, to evolve, not to shrink yourself, just to make the world happy. When you are too friendly with everyone, too open with everyone, too giving to everyone, you slowly lose yourself. Your mind becomes crowded, your heart becomes confused, and your purpose becomes blurry. Life becomes powerful when your boundaries become clear. Peace becomes deeper when your circle becomes smaller, and your relationship with God becomes stronger when you stop living for people and start living for your higher purpose. Today, let me share with you the truthful. You don't need to be available to everyone. You don't need acceptance from everyone. You don't need appreciation from everyone. What you truly need is alignment with your values, with your purpose, and with God's guidance. So today's message is simple but life-changing. Stop being too friendly with everyone and start being real with yourself. There comes a moment in life when you slowly begin to realize that not everyone around you is meant to stay close to your heart. And this realization is not a sign of becoming rude or distant. It is a sign of maturity, a sign of spiritual growth, a sign that your soul has started understanding the deeper patterns of life. Everyone is not meant for your inner circle, and the sooner you accept this, the more peaceful your journey becomes. Think about it. When we were children, we believed everyone who smiled at us was a friend. Anyone who played with us for a few minutes became special in our little world. But as we grew older, life started teaching us through real experiences that not every smiling face carries pure intentions. Some people come close only because they want something, and once they get what they want, they quietly disappear. Others come with the habit of complaining, comparing, or constantly pulling us into drama. And without realizing it, we start carrying the emotional weight of people who were never meant to be in our inner world in the first place. Your inner circle is not decided by how long you have known someone. It is decided by how deeply their presence affects your peace, your growth, and your spiritual direction. You may know someone for 10 years and still feel emotionally exhausted after 10 minutes of conversation. On the other hand, you may meet a person for the first time and feel a calmness that touches your soul. That is the beauty of divine alignment. Some people come with light, while others come with shadows. Some add clarity to your life, while others add confusion. Some help you rise, while others unconsciously pull you down. Imagine you are holding a handful of precious seeds. Your time, your kindness, your energy, your dreams. If you throw these seeds everywhere, into all types of soil, most of them will never grow. Some seeds will fall on rocky ground, some in dry land, some where the weeds will choke them. But if you choose the soil carefully, if you plant your seeds only where there is genuine warmth, nourishment, and positivity, they will grow into something beautiful. Your inner circle works the same way. When you give access to the wrong people, your energy gets wasted. But when you give access to the right ones, your life blossoms. You may have met people who constantly drain you, people who always expect but never give, people who enjoy your company but never respect your boundaries. Every time they need something, They remember you, but when you need even a little support, they suddenly become busy. These are the people God never meant to place in your inner circle. They are visitors, not residents. Lessons, not blessings. And it becomes your responsibility to decide how close you allow them to come. On the other hand, there are rare individuals whose presence feels like fresh air. They don't make your life heavier. They make it lighter. They don't compete with you, they encourage you. They don't judge your imperfections, they understand your journey. They don't drain your energy, they refill it. When you speak to them, your mind becomes clearer. When you spend time with them, your heart becomes calmer. These people might be very few, but they are worth protecting. They are the ones who deserve to be in your inner circle. Not everyone qualifies for that space. Sometimes in life, we force people into our inner circle because we fear being alone. But loneliness with the wrong people feels far worse than solitude with God. When you choose quality over quantity, you begin to rise. When you choose peace over popularity, you begin to transform. And when you choose your inner circle with wisdom, you begin to align with your purpose. It is not selfish to protect your space. It is self-respect. It is emotional hygiene. It is spiritual clarity. Look at your daily life. How many times have you said yes to someone when your heart wanted to say no? How many times have you spent hours with people who drained your energy when you could have used that time for your growth? How many times have you allowed negativity into your world just because you didn't want to hurt someone? These moments may look small, but they shape your entire emotional environment. Your inner circle influences your thoughts. Your thoughts influence your habits, and your habits influence your destiny. That is why being selective is not arrogance. It is wisdom guided by God's intention. When you stop allowing everyone into your inner circle, you create space for the right people to enter. You open the door for genuine connections, meaningful conversations, and healthy relationships. More importantly, you give yourself the freedom to grow without constantly being pulled back. You become more focused, more peaceful, and more aligned with your purpose. Your spirit becomes lighter because you are no longer carrying the unnecessary weight of temporary people. And remember this, God removes some people from your life because they are not connected to your destiny. They may have been part of your story, but not your future. When someone walks away, let them go. When someone stops valuing you, let them leave. When someone shows their true colors, believe them. Your inner circle is a sacred space. It should be shared only with those who respect your soul, support your growth, and bring you closer to the best version of yourself. Protecting your emotional energy is not a luxury. It is a necessity for anyone who wants to live a meaningful, peaceful, and balanced life. In a world where everyone is busy talking, judging, comparing, and complaining, your inner calm becomes your greatest treasure. And the truth is, not everyone deserves access to that treasure. Your emotional energy is like the battery of your soul. When it drains, everything around you begins to feel heavier, slower, harder. But when it is preserved, you think clearly, you feel lighter, and you live with a sense of purpose that nothing can shake. Every day, without even realizing it, we give small pieces of our emotional energy to countless things. A negative conversation drains us. An argument that didn't even matter drains us. Someone else's anger drains us. Someone else's expectations drain us. Social media comparison drains us. Even listening to people who constantly complain can drain us. You may end a day feeling exhausted, not because you worked too hard, but because people pulled your energy in all directions. Think of your emotional energy like a glass of clean water. If everyone who passes by puts their hand in it, the water becomes dirty and unusable. But if only the right people, the respectful people, The nurturing people touch that glass, the water stays pure. Your heart is exactly like that. Each conversation, each environment, each person either purifies your inner world or pollutes it. Protecting your emotional energy means choosing what you allow inside. So many people wake up with good intentions, with a peaceful mind, with a hopeful heart, but within a few hours, their energy is stolen by situations that weren't worth it. A rude comment, a disrespectful message, an ungrateful person, an unnecessary argument, and suddenly the whole day feels heavy. Why? Because emotional energy is delicate. It flows where your attention goes. That is why it is important to guard your mind the same way you guard your valuables. Imagine someone walks into your home every day without knocking, takes something from your table, leaves a mess behind and walks out. You would stop them immediately. But when people walk into your mental space and take your peace, we often allow it because we don't realize that emotional intrusion is as real as physical intrusion. Protecting your emotional energy means valuing your inner world the same way you value your home. Daily life gives endless examples. You might be having a calm morning, enjoying your tea, breathing in peace, and suddenly a message arrives from someone who always brings negativity. Maybe they start complaining. Maybe they start blaming. Maybe they expect you to fix their problems. And you feel that shift inside you. The calmness fading, the irritation rising, the energy dropping. That moment is a reminder you are giving emotional access to someone who does not know how to respect it. Or imagine you are working hard to improve your life, focusing on your goals, building better habits. But a person in your environment keeps discouraging you. Why are you doing this? It won't work. You're wasting your time. They may not mean harm, but their words drain your motivation. Protecting your emotional energy means distancing yourself from voices that shrink your dreams. Another example is when someone constantly argues or complains. You might be trying to keep peace, but they throw their frustrations onto you. And after talking to them, you feel mentally tired, even if the conversation lasted only 10 minutes. This is emotional drain. And it happens because you allowed someone else to place their emotional weight on your shoulders. Protecting your emotional energy means refusing to carry burdens that are not yours. Sometimes we drain ourselves without anyone else's involvement. We overthink, overgive, overplease, over-apologize. We try to fix everything for everyone. We try to keep everyone happy, even when we ourselves are breaking inside. Emotional protection begins when you stop sacrificing your inner world for outer approval. When you realize that your peace matters more than someone else's temporary satisfaction. Protecting your emotional energy is not about avoiding people. It is about choosing your interactions wisely. It is about recognizing which people recharge your spirit and which people drain it. It is about knowing when to engage and when to step back. It is about giving yourself permission to rest from people who exhaust you. It is about recognizing that your emotional well-being is directly connected to your ability to think clearly, act wisely, and live purposefully. You deserve to feel light. You deserve to feel balanced. You deserve relationships that nourish your soul, not relationships that confuse your heart. When you protect your emotional energy, you start becoming more intentional. You speak less but with more meaning. You choose fewer people but with deeper connection. You focus on growth instead of noise. You begin to understand yourself better, and that self-understanding becomes your strength. There will always be people who misunderstand your boundaries. They may call you distant or selfish, but that is only because they benefited from your lack of boundaries. Remember, you are not responsible for how others feel about your self-respect. You are responsible for guarding your peace. You are responsible for protecting your heart. You are responsible for ensuring that your emotional energy is invested where it grows, not where it dies. Kindness is often misunderstood. Many people think that being kind means being endlessly available, always saying yes, or constantly pleasing others, even at the cost of their own peace and purpose. But true kindness is not about sacrificing your soul for someone else's comfort. True kindness is the art of giving without losing yourself, the wisdom of serving without being drained, and the courage to say no when it protects your inner world. Being kind does not mean being a doormat. It means being a light in a way that does not extinguish your own fire. Think about your daily life. How often have you agreed to something you didn't want to, just because someone asked? How many times have you attended events you had no interest in, just because you feared disappointing someone? How often have you smiled and nodded while inside your heart was screaming, I cannot do this? These small moments of compromise might seem insignificant, but over time, they quietly steal your energy, your clarity, and even your happiness. Kindness without boundaries can become the very thing that chains you to stress, resentment, and exhaustion. Imagine a cup of tea. You pour it carefully, filling it with warmth and aroma. If you pour it too quickly, or if everyone keeps taking sips without asking, eventually the cup becomes empty. Your heart is like that cup. Your time, your attention, your love, and your energy are limited resources. If you give them to everyone indiscriminately, there will be nothing left for yourself or for the people who truly matter. But when you are mindful about where and to whom you give, your kindness becomes more meaningful, more impactful, and more fulfilling. Every day, we see examples of how people mistake availability for goodness. A colleague keeps asking for help on work they could do themselves. A friend calls only when they need emotional support. A relative constantly complains and expects solutions, and social media constantly demands our attention. If you respond to everything and everyone, you will slowly lose your focus. Your heart will feel heavy. Your mind will feel cluttered. Your soul will feel tired. Kindness is powerful when it is deliberate, not when it is uncontrolled. There is a difference between being kind and being exploited. Being exploited makes you bitter, resentful, and drained. Being kind makes you strong, compassionate, and calm. For instance, imagine someone at work comes to you every day with their problems, expecting you to solve them. If you always say yes, eventually your work will suffer, your energy will diminish, and you will feel resentment towards that person. But if you help in a way that is fair, balanced, and respectful of your own boundaries, your kindness becomes sustainable. You help, you uplift, and you stay aligned with your purpose. Daily life teaches us lessons in kindness too. A neighbor might ask you to run errands for them. A friend might want constant advice. A family member might ask for emotional support when they are upset. Each time, you have a choice. You can say yes without thinking and deplete yourself, or you can respond with a conscious heart, giving in a way that preserves your energy. You can offer help, but you can also know your limits. You can be supportive, but you can also protect your peace. The beauty of true kindness is that it creates joy for both the giver and the receiver without creating silent suffering. Kindness also teaches you discernment. Over time, you begin to understand who truly deserves your energy and who does not. Some people will take your kindness for granted. Others will respect it and value it. Some people come into your life to teach lessons. Others come to share love and growth. Your ability to differentiate between these is a sign of emotional intelligence, spiritual maturity, and self-respect. You do not have to be equally kind to everyone. You do not have to share your deepest thoughts, your most valuable time, or your precious energy with people who are not aligned with your soul. Another way to see this in everyday life is by looking at friendships. There are friends who bring light, laughter, and calmness into your life. Their presence energizes you, their words inspire you, and their actions reflect care. And then there are friends who constantly demand, complain, or create unnecessary stress. True kindness involves giving yourself permission to invest in the first group and limit exposure to the second. It is not cruelty, it is wisdom. It is not selfishness, it is survival of your spirit. God's guidance is clear when it comes to kindness. It is not measured by quantity but by quality. You do not need to be kind to everyone to be a good person. You need to be kind in ways that are sustainable, meaningful, and aligned with your purpose. Boundaries are not barriers to kindness. They are the framework that makes it powerful. By protecting your heart while giving, you ensure that your kindness leaves a lasting impact, inspires others, and nurtures your own soul. When you master this, life becomes simpler, lighter, and more fulfilling. You stop worrying about pleasing everyone. You stop exhausting yourself trying to meet unrealistic expectations. You start focusing on what truly matters, helping where it counts, loving where it matters, and preserving your heart where it is precious. True kindness becomes your strength, your shield, and your guiding light. It is not blind, it is conscious. It is not weak, it is powerful. And in your daily life, it shows in the peace you carry, the love you share, and the clarity with which you live. Observing people's intentions, rather than just listening to their words, is one of the most powerful skills you can develop in life. Words are easy to speak. Anyone can say, "I care," "I'm here for you," or "you can trust me." But intentions are deeper. They reveal themselves in actions, patterns, and consistency over time. Life teaches us through countless examples that good intentions hidden behind beautiful words are rare. And understanding this truth can protect your heart, sharpen your judgment, and save you from unnecessary pain. Think about your daily interactions. A colleague may say, "I'll support you in this project," but when deadlines arrive, they disappear. A friend may promise, "I'm always here for you," but when you call in a time of need, they are too busy or indifferent. A partner may declare love and loyalty, yet their choices show inconsistency and disregard. These are moments when words alone fail, but intentions speak louder. Observing intentions means paying attention to patterns, not just promises, and learning to trust actions over empty reassurances. Life often teaches us through small, seemingly insignificant moments. A friend who is genuinely caring will remember little details about you, check in without being asked, and show up when it matters most. Conversely, someone whose intentions are not aligned with your well-being may only reach out when they need something from you. The difference is subtle, but over time it becomes glaringly clear. The person with genuine intentions lifts you up, inspires you, and respects your space. The person with hidden agendas drains you, confuses you, and manipulates your energy. Observing intentions is not about being cynical, it is about being wise. Imagine someone constantly compliments you, praises you, and showers you with kind words. Initially, it feels wonderful, but over time you notice that they only offer praise when they want something in return. Attention, help, or approval. Their actions rarely match their words. They may promise loyalty but break it when convenient. They may show concern but act selfishly. When you observe intentions rather than words, you see through this illusion and protect yourself from disappointment. You no longer invest deeply in people whose hearts are not aligned with yours. Daily life provides countless examples. Perhaps a neighbor always talks about helping the community, but when an opportunity arises to contribute, they are nowhere to be found. Perhaps a coworker constantly talks about teamwork, yet they undermine others to get ahead. Perhaps a family member promises support but criticizes or judges your choices silently. In each scenario, paying attention to intentions reveals truth faster than any word ever could. God teaches us to discern with our hearts, not just our ears, because words can be misleading, but consistent intentions cannot. Observing intentions also requires patience. People may not reveal their true selves immediately. Some may appear kind and sincere at first, but patterns emerge over time. The person who consistently keeps their promises, respects your boundaries, and acts with honesty, even when convenient, is showing true intentions. The person who consistently takes advantage, manipulates situations, or leaves a trail of disappointment is showing theirs as well. Life gives us repeated lessons in observing actions, testing reliability, and recognizing authenticity. A simple example in everyday life is friendships. A friend who truly cares will call you during tough times, even if inconvenient. They will remember your struggles, celebrate your successes, and stand by your side without conditions. Someone whose intentions are self-serving will only contact you when they need a favor or attention. They will vanish during challenges and resurface only for convenience. Observing intentions helps you identify which relationships are nurturing and which are toxic. It protects your energy and safeguards your heart. Observing intentions is not limited to people. It applies to situations as well. Sometimes life presents opportunities or challenges that sound appealing on the surface, but their underlying purpose may not align with your growth. By observing the intention behind circumstances, you can make wiser choices, invest your energy more wisely, and avoid unnecessary setbacks. Life, in essence, is a constant test of discerning what is genuine and what is superficial, what will nourish your soul and what will drain it. God's guidance teaches us that truth is revealed in consistency. Actions speak louder than words. Genuine intentions manifest in respect, reliability, patience, and integrity. When you align yourself with people and situations whose intentions are pure, your life becomes lighter, your energy more vibrant, and your heart more peaceful. You stop being swayed by charm, flattery, or hollow promises. You start trusting the universe to connect you with those who genuinely support your growth and keep your best interests at heart. By observing intentions, you create a protective shield around your mind and heart. You reduce disappointment, you minimize conflict, and you increase clarity in your relationships. You no longer waste time on people who are not invested in your well-being. Instead, you invest in those whose intentions are aligned with your purpose, whose hearts resonate with yours, and whose actions reflect sincerity. Life becomes simpler, more purposeful, and more fulfilling. You learn to love wisely, trust wisely, and give wisely, because your actions are no longer dictated by empty words, but by the genuine intentions of others. When you make observing intentions a habit, life begins to feel safer, lighter, and more meaningful. You stop guessing people's motives, stop chasing approval, and stop feeling drained by manipulative energy. You start focusing on relationships and situations that truly uplift you, inspire you, and move you toward your higher purpose. This discernment, guided by God's wisdom, is not only a tool for protection, it is a key to inner peace, clarity, and a fulfilled life.